Right, hello. Alright, this video. This is not going to make sense to a lot of people. Okay? I'm basically carrying on from the last video that I did with all the from all the hidden codes that are in this $1 bill. And the date that we found over here, the 213 date. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. If you've not seen if you've not seen that last video and what the significance of this day is, in relation to the dollar bill and all the codes that are in there, then it would probably be a good idea to just go watch it. Probably pause this one and go and watch that first. But if you just want to, I'm going to actually cover some more on the significance of the 213 day, February the 13th, and then I'm just going to do some references in certain films that I think are pretty interesting to do with that day as well. So what we want to do is we actually want to go to this chart that I made, this is a chart that I made probably well over a year ago now, I think. I can't really remember exactly when I made it, but in a lot of my videos I talk about this chart. Okay, and again, I'm not going to go into explaining all the meaning behind it and how I came up with it and all the rest of it. This is just a chart that I came up with, and it's basically different sets of Fibonacci sequence type numbers. Okay, this is Lucas numbers down the middle, something you can go and look up. And all I did is compiled this chart, because what the Fibonacci sequence does is it takes two numbers at the start of it, right? And what happens is, as those numbers progress, right, what that is doing is it's leading towards balance, and the balance point is the golden ratio, which is 1.618 blah 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 blah. So this whole table is to do with balance, and what we have within the table is certain points at which the end of a cycle can be looked at. Okay, like the 10 as the end of the metaphysical cycle, and the 12 as the end of the physical cycle in the world. Yeah, hopefully most people are aware that there's a spiritual side to reality, the metaphysical side, and the physical side to reality. You can't have one without the other, basically. Now, what do I want to say? I guess actually, well, I take that back. You can't have one without the other, because it would depend on your perspective as to the way you're looking at reality at the time, as to whether you could have one without the other. But let's just put it this way: they're heads and tails. Yeah, they're the two faces of the same coin, right? And this center point here marks balance, and this center point here marks balance. So you get this cross, and I just called it the double cross of Lorraine, because it's got these two main legs that cross here, and this is the main balance point, this 1118. I've already explained more than I was going to explain. There you go. For the Back to the Future buffs, here's your 55 and 88. Anything in grey is a total. Okay, and so these are totals for these columns here. This is the total of the 55 and 88 column, which is 143, which is pi, or at least the numbers of pi. And we have pi over here, 314, and we actually have pi right at the start of the Lucas number row as well, which is 134. Now, and it shows up all over the place, pi does, because it's all to do with cycles, yeah? And cycles in nature is how nature balances things through a cycle, right? Okay, that was more explanation than I wanted to do, and that's probably just took up way too much time. But this 213 number, yeah, the number that we were just looking at with the dollar bill, I can't remember how much reference I put back to this table in there, but we're going to make a few nice little links now with music and film to this number. Okay, but here it is. It's the start of this sequence, right? And I don't know if you noticed, but I made a small cross here as well, right at the start of this sequence, because this 134 is sort of rotated here as well, and it crosses itself. Okay, and 134 sums to 8. So in my original drawing of this thing, I'd actually put an 8 over this, and I'd actually put an 8 going this way. I had the 88 right around here as well, as a sort of symbol, right? And so what we have here is we have basically at the start of this, at the birthday of it, at the start of it is a short T, yeah, the short T. Okay, when you're a little wee whippersnapper, you are the short T. Okay, so you can see where I'm going to go with some of these references now. The first one that we might go and look at, I don't know, will be in no specific order, but that rapper called 50 Cent, who did a song called In the Club, which I've talked about before, but this is the short T that he's talking about. Go shorty, it's your birthday. 213 is your birthday. This is the start of it. And as we get to the end of the cycle here, the 10th round, we got 123, which is the same set of numbers. And the total for that is 321. And you can see some other interesting things come up, like the 322 in that row, which happens to be the neighboring day to this thing. If you look back, I don't really want to go into here's the thing. I don't really want to have to go back and cross-reference back and show you every single day in here, because that's, I'll just be here forever. But you can go back to the last video, and if you go to the calendar year and start looking at some of these numbers, you'll see that this is the 18th of November, this day here, and you'll see how this day is re-referenced here as well. I don't really want to spend a ton of time trying to explain everything, right? But that whole cycle starts right here with the 5th of November. Okay, remember the 5th of November. So again, super important. All these numbers in here. I tell you, if you were to just cross-reference anything you're looking at in reality with this table, you'd be amazed at how many times certain things are referenced. It's just absolutely amazing. But what I want to do is focus in on this shorty. Okay, so when I originally did it, like I said, I had this it looked a bit like a four-leaf clover, so I did a picture so you can see what oh dear, I did this picture, okay. And this was the kind of thing I was coming up with, this four-leaf clover. So it's almost like, if we're going to have a reference to something happening, it's like a twin thing again. We're back to that whole idea of the twin thing again. And so let me go back to this. That's kind of put me off looking at that terrible terrible little drawing. We'll come back to this, but so if we think about this like a timeline right here, right? 2, 1, 3, 4, okay, and we're going to have an event. Then we've got two events referenced in here, because we've got the 134 crossing the 134. So we've got two events. Okay. Now, one of those events, I believe, is 9/11. And so the other one, I believe, is going to be, right, of this moment in time, I'm thinking it's going to be the 13th of February, right here. Okay, and the 13th of February is actually the 44th day of the year. So we've got this 44 reference that ties in with this date here, which is the birthday, yeah? Go Shorty, it's your birthday, right? But we've got another event in here as well that we need to, it needs to be a similar kind of event, a similar metaphor behind the event. It needs to be kind of related to this thing, and it needs to be, it'll have a lot of the same references. Okay, they need to tie together, yeah, or like family, if you like. And so here, what we've got with this other event is we've got this, reflected. So if we've got the 44 with the 213, then what we've got here with this, the leftovers really is this 11. This is the opposite of the 44 here, is this 11. So we need an event that will reference 11 and 3, and we also need to, I don't know, somehow reference pi in there as well if we can. So if we come here to the 3 column, which is what I called the pi row, because it's 3, 1, 4, it starts off with pi. So if we come to this 3 column, because we've got a 3 in the middle here, and we come along and we go to the 11th column here. Am I saying column or row? We go to the 3 row, and we come down here on the 11th column. We get to this number here, 254, and of course 9/11 is the 254th day of the year. And then now you can see the connections back to the $1 bill. Okay, so we certainly have something that's very interesting here, this idea of go Shorty, it's your birthday, yeah, and 50 cent, the reference to 50 cent would be the start of the year, which is, the year start is the birthday as well. We've gone 50 from that point. I don't know, and I mean, maybe that's maybe I'm looking at it slightly wrong, but the fact that we're talking about the 50 cent, like 2 events, yeah, 125 and another 25 event, yeah, just interesting. Something else to be said here about going 25 days each time. Now, people are not going to be understanding this again if you haven't seen that that last video. But when we're coming across here, these numbers here, if we total those, that's 10, right? And that 10, if we're going to divide it by the number of spaces, which is 4, we're going to get 2.5, right? So we're going to be at 25, 25, 25, and 25 each time we move a space, if we're looking at this like a timeline. So that again is interesting. And what is interesting is if you total this across here, we've got 8, and we've got the 10 here. So we've got this 18 re-referenced here, which is also quite nice. And we've got the start date for the whole thing. 2000. Just put 2 zeros in the middle of here, and we've got 2001. What I thought was interesting was, if we jump to 2022, which is when this would be, this February the 13th, we've still only done 20 years for the reference to 2001, the Odyssey. This is very important with the Greek myth of Odysseus. Okay, his journey is 20 years, so this is still in alignment with the 20-year return home of Odysseus, and this is what this is all about. This is about coming home. This is about, we've been out on this cycle, on this this voyage you know, for 20 years, and you know, you get to 10 years, and then you're making that trip back, okay? And that trip back for Odysseus was the Odyssey, okay? And so that cycle comes to an end, yeah? And that is the homecoming, coming back home, i.e., coming out of the Matrix, as Neo, the $1 would say. So, so I get on these little ramble waffle things in between stuff, and then I forget what I'm talking about. But what I thought was interesting here was, see, this is coming this way with the 2, 1, 3, 4. I like looked up, and I just glanced up a little bit further, and it's the same set of numbers coming down right from the top of the chart, yeah? So this becomes really, really interesting here now, because what we have is, it's like, it is the same event, you know, it is the twin event down through here, yeah? Oh, geez, don't try to do that, Dan. What are you doing, you muppet? Okay, so this is the same set of numbers. So I'm like, well, this fits in very, very nicely as well. Even though we're over on the 20 years by actually 5 months, 25 and 2 days, this still fits in quite nicely with this set of numbers here. We just add another 21 to it, and that brings us out at 22, yeah, 2022. So this is, I mean, everything seems to line up pretty nicely with this set of numbers right here, for like the general way this thing's working, and the shorty, and the going 25 days between each event and everything else, you know. So, you know, we start on where we're starting is on the 5th of November, okay, and then we're going 25 days, which takes us to St. Andrews, which is the Great Scott that's always referenced, and the Scott that's referenced all the amount of references to the Scotland, but that's the fictional flag. And then we go another 25 days, and we're at, oh, where are we at, Dan? Come on, think. Where are we at, Dan? Come on. Oh, I tell you what, actually, a better way of looking at this is, we start on the 1-1, like with Fibonacci, yeah? So this is 511, and then we get to St. Andrew, and I mean, it doesn't really matter what number we're on here, actually. We go to St. Andrew, okay, so that's 25 days. Then we get to Christmas, okay, which would be here, I guess, I don't know. And then from Christmas, from the 25th of December, we get to the 19th of January. And then from the 19th of January, we're going to get to the 13th of February, right here. And so when we do our 25-day leaps, okay, and we've got to do 4 leaps, so we've only got 3 right here, but we're going to start on that day there, because we need to reference this 11, I suppose, you know. And I tell you why the 11 is so very, very important, because it actually pops up twice. You may have looked at the table already and figured this out for yourself, but between the metaphysical and the physical, okay, this is the 10 cycle, and this is the 12 cycle. Okay, see where I'm going? This is the 10 cycle, so that's the balance point for that, and the 6 is the balance point for the 12 cycle. Well, if we talk about just this cycle and this cycle together, the balance point for those two things is this 11 column. Yeah, and so this is why 9/11 is super important. And I mean, you look, we're just a day off on the day of the year here as well, at the bottom here, 364 instead of 365, and of course, again with the whole year cycle and that day that's missing in February, and only shows up one in every 4 years, the leap year, that is made up of a quarter day. So again, the quarter is super important to the whole thing, but you don't really see a 25 in the table or anything. You know, it's not like tons of 25s in the table anywhere, but it's just inferred by the way we look at the stuff. Okay, so I'm hoping I've covered really everything that I wanted to say about this, but this is this is why we're seeing the pi number show up so much. It's right at the center of it all. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave that alone now. The other number that's I've got this over. This is wrong here. Hang on, let's move this over. This should be sitting underneath this column here. This is the total for the 8 row, yeah, and the 8 here, this 8 row here, or 8 columns, shall I say, is actually highly referenced right here as well, with the 6 and the 8, and the 8 here and the 6 here and the 86 here. Okay, so this number of man, which is 6 and 8, this is why 1968 tons of stuff show up, yeah, and 1986 tons of stuff shows up. Again, it's referencing, you know, the man. Anyway, I gotta just leave it at that, because otherwise I'll waffle forever, and we're probably already at half an hour already. So that was that cross that I came up with, the short T, and of course that then links. Let's do all the links now to this. I think I've pretty much covered everything. I probably forgot something. I probably did forget something, but whatever. We'll just live with it as it is. So, where do I even want to start with this, right? Let's go to these, you know, I call the fake holidays that all of a sudden every day of the year's got like 50 million random holidays assigned to it that people have just made up, I guess. But this is super interesting, right? Because I went through a couple of these in the last video, and thanks to, I guess, Katie, I think that's the right way to say that. Not Catty, but anyway, I don't know. But anyway, thanks for the cheddar reference being money, and thanks for the crab rangoon reference, and that link, and that's all in the comments on that other video. You can go and have a look at that for yourself if anybody's interested. I'm not going to cover them again. What I thought was let's go through some of these now that I didn't talk about last time. This National Wingman's Day. I mean, this is just nuts, right? Because I said about Val Kilmer, and also they're going to be bringing out the sequel to Top Gun, which we have a Tom Cruise reference there, which we'll get onto another Tom Cruise reference in a minute. But and the cruise missile, yeah. I don't know. That's not a reference I'm going to look at, but I just, you know, thinking out loud. National Wingman's Day. This could also be another very cunning little reference, because if we go to, let's see, here we are. If we go to the Hoover Dam, at the Hoover Dam are these two statues, right? This could be an angel, or it actually could be a dog head. If you have seen images of Anubis, you know, those Egyptian gods, the actual shape of it looks like dog ears, okay? But this is the winged man, you know, the wingman. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, the references are just insane, I guess. Maybe, I mean, you know, maybe I'm reading too much into all of this, and nothing's going to happen, and, you know, whatever. So that was one interesting thing. Let's go back to this a minute. I think I forgot to mention about Condom Day. I did say about the con of the dom, which was the dome, which is the dam, right? But the condom in England is known as the Johnny, yeah. And Johnny is the one. Johnny is Jones. Is those two? Johnny is Jones, Gene, you know, and a couple of other kind of variations on that. Yeah, is the one, right? It has the 1 in it. And okay, who was the other 1 that's referenced in V for Vendetta? Remember the 5th of November? John Johnson is his other name, aka Guy Fawkes, aka John Johnson. Oh, you just can't write this stuff, you know. So, you know, Johnny is an American. I'm afraid of Americans. Some people will know what I'm talking about there. So, okay, so we've done that. Let's go back to this one more time. Let's look at a couple more things on here. What was the other thing? There was 2 more things. The Super Bowl Sunday thing we've already covered, and I think I did. You know, I mean, I could talk for probably half an hour just on theories or on ideas for a storyline for how things could play out. You know, on Super Bowl Sunday. It's just very interesting that it's moved this year. You know, this makes this special. World Radio Day. Okay, let's do that at the bottom first. Everything else I kind of covered, I think. But this World Radio Day I really didn't say anything about. But the only thing I could think of with radio was actually a couple of songs. Video killed the radio store. Right? Is it radio store or star? Radio store. But I'm not looking at that song. I'm looking at the other song with radio in it, which is Queen, and it's Radio Gaga. Yeah, and that whole song is well, let's not play it. That whole song is all we hear is Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. Variation on that, you know. All we hear is Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. What makes the Goo Goo and the Gaga sound? Yep, you guessed it. It's the baby. Yeah, the baby being born, the man being reborn, the shorty being reborn. Oh dear, you just can't write this stuff, I tell you. And what's really funny is at the end of this, they've got Metropolis, that old film playing. It's got the CP3O character coming to life in it. I think I've seen the film ages and ages and ages ago, but at the end of it, there is we've got at the end of the video anyway for this, we've got this flood, and I haven't even diagnosed. I've actually talked about this video before, I'm sure of it, with the clock face and everything that's in there, and that's also split into. If we could just get on it, they've took the time to at least split this into quarters for us, so we know we need to deal with a quarter again. And I guess we could start looking at, you know, different times that Freddy's moving the hands to, but I can't be bothered with it. What I will say is that we do have this kind of flood thing at the end of it, and Freddy is breaking through the face of a building there. It's cracking open, just like the dam wall will crack open, and then we have some flood stuff going on. So it's very, very interesting. If I could just get on something that actually shows it. The other interesting thing about the end of this film is there's kind of this war scene. It looks like World War II, right? With the gas masks on, the family around the radio listening for instructions. But what is interesting is right at the end, they seem to be happy and they've taken all that off, and they're not listening to the warnings anymore. And then all of a sudden, if we could get on it, all of a sudden there's a bright light and a flash. I mean, the only thing I can think is something to do with, instead of radio just by itself, radioactive, maybe. I don't know. But I thought that was interesting. Anyway, let's drop back and do some more references here, because this is absolutely nuts, what I'm going to show you now. And it gets even more nuts, so please stick around. This Autism Sunday, I can't remember what I mentioned with this, but I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go watch Rain Man, because of course Dustin Hoffman, who is the Rain Man, or Raymond in that film, is autistic, right? So I thought, you know, if there was one film we were going to go and watch, it was going to be that. So Let's see if I can grab this up. So I went and watched the film, and again, I mean, just the film, it's just the narrative of the film. Yeah, we've got the they're not twins, but they're brothers, and so we've got this idea of twins again. Okay, brothers separated at birth, and one sort of, that there's a realization that's found in the film when they're together. They grow from being with one another. Okay, which it's almost like they're almost like more functional once they know about each other. Yeah, once they interact with one another, they can function correctly now. Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise is a bit of an a-hole, and I mean, he's great acting in it, but that's what he's playing, is a bit of an a-hole, right? And once they're together, the characters change, and Dustin gets more confident, well, slightly more confident, I think, because he's sort of, just the interaction with one another. Well, I'm really starting to waffle, but they basically go on a car voyage, an odyssey of their own, yeah, and this discovery of each other, and so this is referencing that other. It re-references this idea of the straw man behind the scenes that you don't know about, the thing that's controlling you, actually, and yeah, it's just a good film. I mean, truthfully speaking, it would take me a good hour to really sort of explain the ins and outs of the film, except it's a really simple film in principle, actually. But some of the references in this film are absolutely insane. I mean, just the fact that we've got Raymond, yeah, the Ray of the Moon, and Tom is playing Charlie, and their name is Babbitt. Okay, and I'm going to explain the Babbitt in a minute, or what I think it is. But 312. So they're at the doctor's office, and the doctor's like, "Well, I'm going to test him because he can do numbers. Yeah, this is Raymond's talent, is he can add up numbers or count things quickly." And of course, this all leads to where else but going counting cards in Vegas, and we're playing 21 blackjack, all the references we've already talked about in other videos. So anyway, the doctor's going to test him, and he asks him what's. I've got the subtitles up. What's 312 times 123? 123, right? I tell you, you just cannot write this stuff. So we've got a direct reference to the start, to the birthday, and to the end of that sequence. Yeah, to the end of the Lucas numbers there, and a direct reference to that day of the year. I don't know. They put them both backwards for the day of the year. Yeah. So it's super interesting. What other references? I mean, there was a ton of Wapner. Wapner was the show that you like to watch. Okay, it was like an old like Judge Judy type show, I think is what it was. But you always got to watch Wapner, and there was some other references as well. But again, what do I want to say about this? Wapner sounds like Whopper. Yeah, and if you see my other videos, then you'll know what the reference to Whopper is with War Games. And the Whopper it's also a reference to Hoover, and it's also a reference to the Whopper, like being the big one. So there's okay. Let's look at the length of the film here. 2:13:51 on YouTube's counter. If we scroll down, look at this. Look at this. Oh yeah, release date 1988. We'll get onto the Wikipedia in a minute. 2:13:52. okay, for the runtime. So we've got that 25 in there again with the 52. I mean, you just can't write this. This is absolutely insane. Let's look at another reference here. Let's look at the car Charlie inherits this car, right? And not to mention, hang on a minute, not to mention the Rain Man, the play on words with Raymond, yeah, Moon, and Rayman, yeah, Rain Man, the man who must come out of the Matrix and now reign independently, yeah, the reign of man is what we're talking about. This awakening is going to be the reign of man. So you've got them going on the Odyssey, going to Vegas. Oh boy, I there's the number plate on this one. Hang on a minute. I guess that's on the film. We've got 36 for for a year for 36, 360 degrees. We've got the 68. I mean, what do you say? But this car here, right? Where else have you seen this car? And look at the color of the car as well. Yeah, we've got the silver of the moon. We've also got a moony color, and that's also a milky color as well, cream color. Which the cream is, of course, from the sacred cow, the place that we're stuck inside. That's the milk and the honey that you're eating right now. Yeah, you're taking off the good stuff, and we're out of balance right now. Okay, but that's the reference there. Drinking the milk from the. Oh, you bugger! Just got bit by a fly. Edit that bit out. Hang on, let's get rid of this. Alright, hopefully I edit that bit out. I don't know if I could be bothered or not. But here's this car again. It's not the same car, okay? This is a Packard 8, Doc Brown's car, okay? But you can see the similarity, yeah? I mean, they picked two different cars. You couldn't really... I mean, that to me is a definite reference, yeah? And this is a Buick Roadmaster. So, I mean, it's just absolutely insane. I mean, let's let's go to the Wikipedia now. So, like Dustin Hoffman, yeah, the Dustin, we have a link to that in Back to the Future with the Dustbuster, and what the Hoover is a Dustbuster. It's Dustin, and the Hoover is also the Hoover and the egg and everything else, but this is the hoe off man. I mean, and here's Top Gun here, the cruise missile. Just nuts, absolutely nuts. Directed by Barry Levinson. Yeah, the Levy. Come on. I mean, I'm stuck for words, or I mean, I just don't want to say anymore. It's absolutely nuts. This is Tom's love interest in the film, and we've managed to get a Valerie, to play that part. I mean, come on. It's just crazy. And it's Susanna. I can't remember. There was another reference to Sue. I can't remember what it was. But anyway. Oh, let's do this quick. Babbitt. This Babbitt. What the hell does Babbitt mean? But there is, again, we've got another. This is another quarter reference here, I believe. Looks a bit like rabbit as well. And that idea of following the right rabbit. But the bit, 2 bits is a quarter, okay? Let's go to this, and this is 12.5 cents would be a bit, okay? So 2 of those would be a quarter, and this is based off the Spanish dollar and pieces of 8 Where have we seen that referenced? And so there would be 8 pieces of 8 in a Spanish dollar, and so that would be, so 1/4 would be 2 bits, okay? And so this Babbit reference is a pretty subtle reference, but it's there, you know. I don't think there was anything else I really wanted to say about the film itself, apart runtime here. So they've rounded the runtime, but if we change it to just minutes, we've got 134 minutes. I mean, you just can't write it. Look, budget 25 million. Oh, absolutely crazy. It's just nuts. I don't think we should spend any longer on this. That's long enough. There are a ton more references in the film. I don't know if I need to spoil. You know, I mean, you can go watch the film and spot them all for yourself. What else do I want to say? It's a great film as well. You know, and they both act their parts brilliantly in this film. Tom Cruise is really actually a pretty good actor, and Hoffman is as well. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, this is so, the whole idea here is so about the system, you know, and about the way man is controlled and coming out of that thing. And I mean, I could probably do an hour on it just by itself. So that's that done. What I also wanted to touch on, well, while we're on the subject of bits, okay, because of course now we have Bitcoin, which again is a reference back to, you know, that could be another reference back to, you know, you need to look at the quarter for this code, you know, the real Bitcoin, if you like, the 2 Bitcoin. Now, I want to look at REM because that's going to blow your mind as well. There's a couple of other little references in here, but what was I talking about? Where is that? Here we go. 50 Cent. And actually, if I got here's In the Club. Yeah, this is the one that I was really thinking about with the Go Shorty, It's Your Birthday, Gonna Drink Bacardi, Sip Bacardi, Drink Bacardi, Sip Bacardi, like it's your birthday, and you know we don't give up. Bacardi, that's interesting as well. Like the bar and the car. The bar car is all to do, you know, that's all to do with the spirit. And of course, the bar and the car is also the thing. When I say it's to do with the spirit, I'm talking Egyptian religious ideas now. But also the bar is the thing across the windows that keeps you contained, and the car, again, that the Doc and Rayman were just in. That car is the thing that is your sort of shield, yeah. Without, it's kind of like a comfort blanket. Without it, you're not protected. You're not. It takes you on your voyage, if you like. I don't know. But anyway, the bar car, the Bacardi, the Bacardi, the bar and the car, and what the bloody hell. I know I'm waffling here, but the bar and the car have become something that is not pure anymore, right? When the start of the, when we fall in love at the start of the cycle, that thing's very pure, okay? And by the end of the cycle, the bar and car, the spirit, has been corrupted so much that that thing is the old hag, is the whore, is the hoe, yeah. It's the old crony. The thing we fell in love with is now gone. It's been replaced. It's been turned by man into something a lot less desirable. Okay, that's the ideas there. But you know, In the Club. I mean, I guess we could look very length. 3 minutes 13. So there we go, right there with the references. I mean, I don't know I don't think there's any point in really spending a huge amount of time on 50 Cent. But let's just look at, because we'll go back to that in a minute there. Where was that? Where have I got that up here? I thought I had it up. Oh yeah, here it is. This is 50 Cent's early, his sort of breakout, or mixtape. What does it say here? Sort of his debut stuff. But anyway, The Power of the Dollar. That's his first album, and this one here, Guess Who? Get the Hoovers Back. You know, I mean, it sounds, you know, I mean, I don't know. And you've got the 56 balance and the 11 here with the length of this one. I mean, just the names alone, it's a lot like Madonna's stuff. The names of those songs that Madonna has, especially in her early part of her career, I mean, they're just absolutely insane. And it makes you think that it's definitely, it makes you think that that's not just a random, you know, it makes me think that there's a group of men behind that, rather than just it just happened that way. But it did just happen that way, actually, because at the root of those men are driven by consciousness as well. So I mean, you can't escape it. Yeah, at the root of everything is a conscious thing pushing it that way. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. But this whole thing. So let's just do the connection that I was trying to do. This is what's painful, Dan. Well, I don't know where I've done with it now. Here it is. It was right here. This other 21 questions, yeah. So we've got the start of the cycle here referenced. You know, I'd been maybe looking at the year as being this, but this could be the jump from 2001, like I just said, the 21-year jump. So this is just a reference to the start of that cycle again. And look what we've got. In this, they're basically getting raided by the cops, right? And he's going to end up going to jail, right? But they're counting their money, and then they try to flush some of it down the toilet and hide some of it. There's a ton of references in here. Nate Dogg, featuring Nate Dogg, and he's in here wearing a 44 on his shirt. Just tons of little references. But this one, I love this one with the knock knock on the, as they're going to knock down the door. But the knock knock, who's there? I mean, you just can't write it. That's one I've done before. And then look at this song here. This is again, you know, released, you know, right around the time of these other two songs. Just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, 2 bits is going to be that, and a little bit, I guess, would be, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a reference to the 2-bit again. Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. So, and actually, in that video, he's within the 4 pillars in that video a lot as well. So, you know, the same as the 4 pillars that are on the front of the courthouse, yeah, the clock tower. So, the 4 pillars that are at the Hoover Dam. Now, okay, blooming hell. Well, done that. I wanted to show you this St. Valentine's thing. I don't know if I referenced this last time, but this is the relic of St. Valentine, so presumably it's his skull. And, of course, the 322 worships the the skull and bones. In this video, okay, alright, yeah, bear in mind this first as well, this triangular thing with the light coming through. Let's just backtrack a second. Okay, and here we have that. I think this is a reference to that relic. I really do now. Here we have jewels on there instead of flowers, but you get the idea. Referenced in David Blower's Black Star video. And then if we come on again, let's look at this. This would be, flip this over, Dan. Here we go. Yeah, actually, it's quite an upright pyramid, that. And so, I remember where I was at now. Where's David Bowie gone? So there's your pyramid with your all-seeing eye and the light rays coming from it. Okay. And again, we've got the light rays sort of coming through the side of here. This is the attic, the attack. It's the upward arrow, phallus of man, you know. Flip it up the other way, it's the cup of Christ. And so we have a good reference in there. I just wanted to drop those two references in because I can't remember if I actually showed that link in the last one. I just talked about it. And sometimes it's better to see stuff than me just talk about it. Okay. So we've done that. I guess I should really click these off as I do them, but okay. I'm saving the best till last. No, I don't know if I am saving the best till last. Let's just do this now. Remember that song, REM? It's the end of the world as we know it. In fact, let's go to this because I've got the song. I can get it up very, very quickly, right? It's the end of the world as we know it, yeah? This is the song. It's the end of the world as we know it, but I feel fine. Okay, that song, I think I've talked about it before, but I thought I'd go back and I'll have another look at it because now I'm looking at a different date again. I'm looking at 2/13, the day before Valentine's Day, the day before V-Day, Val's Day, the Valley's Day. And the Valentine, that's all about falling in love again, yeah. And so Valentine's Day, of course, will reference that perfectly, yeah. This idea of the initiation of the start of the system again, yeah, the start of the Matrix, the rebirth of both man and Matrix again. But here we go. The video starts with a bloody red rose, the red Carson, V for Vendetta, and it's on a. Look at this. We've got the man here. We've got the man and the V. This is the feminine as well. Yeah. This is the Vesica Pisces. Yeah. So interesting start to the video. Yeah. It's not, doesn't appear to be that random anymore. Okay, and we're drumming on the world, and we've got some chains there, baby chains, baby toy stuff. You know, I don't know. And then we've got several different things through here. You know, we're in a dilapidated house where we've got some footballs. I think that's a little mini one, blue, and a blue and white one. There's a baseball. Oh, look at this. Another football. Oh yeah, we've got a soldier's helmet there. I think this is Superman here. We've got the tambourine, which is the corona. It's the crown. That's in Back to the Future, in Back to the Future 2, in the hoverboard, when they're in the town square there and doing all that stuff. You know, there's a bunch of people with the tambourines. There was even a little horn there, a little trumpet almost. There's the skateboard. Oh, there it is again, the horn. Oh, there's Superman again. I think this might be. There is a Statue of Liberty in here at some point as well. Blooming hell, I didn't realise the football was going to show up that much. But of course, Super Bowl Sunday. Let's not forget that. Okay, and I did a video a while back called The Last Supper Bowl. Yeah, The Last Supper Bowl. Oh dear. Not quite sure there. Blues Brothers. And they were at a Super Bowl as well. I don't remember which one it was, but it might have been 31. It might have actually been 31 because there's one that really does reference the crown pretty good. That's probably in my back catalogue as well. Here we go. Superman. Oh, we've got the Michelin Man. We didn't quite go. We couldn't find a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, so we went with the Michelin. Close approximation there. For Ray picking the Destructor, and I've done videos on that before. But yeah, it's a super interesting video. We've got the side of the house fell down. We've got the sacred cows out in the field right behind them here, you know. Again, you're drinking that milk from the sacred cow. Come on, people. What we've got to do is we've got to return back to a more pure version of that, a more balanced version of it. Okay. And we're going to actually do some upside down flips as well here. So we've got this idea of and I think that's it for the video. I can't remember. The dog's in it as well. You know, the dog. G-O-D. So that was really interesting, right? And I'm thinking, yeah. Actually, I went and looked at the Wikipedia for it. I looked at the Wikipedia. Now, interesting day coming out, November the 16th. Yeah, you can see it right there. What I saw on side B. That it's just called last date. I'm like, I've got to get to side B ASAP. This is interesting as well. The length 44. So already we're getting some great references to the end of the world as we know it. But this last date, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta find this. Well, we don't have a link on Wikipedia, right? And so I went to YouTube and I saw this and I listened to it, and I've got another version down here that I listened to as well to see whether I, you know, because sometimes you get something random, but it's just instrumental. There's no lyrics to listen to see if they drop any numbers in there, and there was nothing really to look at in the way of numbers. And I'm like, I tell you what is interesting. This is 217. That's awful close to 213 or 14. And I'm thinking, when I looked at the other one, I'm telling you my process here. When I looked at this other version of it here, I'm like, this is 210. I was like, I got to find out what the exact length of this thing is. Okay, so I just googled like a last date, you know, and I thought, right, here we are. This is an old, the center of an old vinyl record, yeah. And you know, when we still had side Bs, I guess I don't know if they still do that or not. With when you buy a song, do they give you an extra one with it? I don't know, but anyway, look at this. 2 minutes 13. It's 2 minutes 13. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, this is just out of this world. Last day, and it's 2 minutes 13 long. And I'm like, Floyd Kramer, okay, it's a cover. Let's go look at Floyd Kramer's now. Okay. His side B is called Sweetie Baby. The baby being born. Oh my gosh. And it's 2:20 long. I mean, you just can't write this stuff. 2 minutes 20 long. So we've got with this last date, you know, if something does happen, there's the day and the year referenced. Yeah. 22. Oh, you just can't write it. How many times am I going to say that in this video? Anyway, so I'm going to leave that one now. That was pretty insane, and I'm going to do some more insane stuff here with Back to the Future. Just a couple more things. Hopefully this video is not too long. Okay, Back to the Future. Okay, so actually what I'm wanting to show you, let's see if I can find it on, it's actually on this one better. I don't know if I've got a picture of it up. Hang on a minute. Oh, it's the barber shop. I don't know if this is going to come up on here. We will be looking at this in a minute. This is not really what I wanted. Let's just go and let's do this bit first, and this will, and then I'll go back to that other stuff, right? So this is the bit where Marty's just done the audition and told him been told he's too loud, right? and excuse me, he's upset about it. Okay, and him and Jennifer are walking back to the town square. Right now, this is the Western Auto 9 here that makes that famous 911 sign. And so this is the start of this here, right? And so if we move on just a little bit at a time, right? Because I don't want to play it, or try not to play it because of getting the copyright. We've got two dilapidated buildings here in the middle, which I'm going to show you just one more second. But as we come along, and in fact, let me just show you what they are. Let's go back to that other one, right? Which was right here. Oh, forget. Sorry, I'm having trouble. I put this big cursor on so you can see what I was doing better. And it's actually more difficult, I think, more difficult to use. Once I get used to it, it'll be fine. But we've got the Bluebird Motel, sorry. You know, the motel, the hotel, that's the thing you go into when you're away from home, yeah? When you're traveling, that's where you stay. All right, this is why Vegas is full of hotels. This is the reference, the hot L. So this is when you are not at home. You know, you're staying with the Bluebird, yeah, the Virgin Mary, the Bluebird, the mother, yeah, fiction. Anyway, we've also got Elite Barber Shop here as well. While I'm on the topic of this, old Jurassic Liars would like this, because this is, if you look at it, it looks like the upside down Space Needle. You see it? It's also a phallic symbol going into the bar, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's another reference there to the bar and the sheep and the goat and the blooming ram. All these, you know, similar ideas, but this thing's going. It's headed. It's pointing down, ready to go into it. Yeah, and the motel's ready for action as well. This is this is the 1955 version, right? So let's go back to where were we at? Back to the Future here. This is all dilapidated now. And so they're walking past these things, right? This is nuts, and Marty's just said, just, you know, he's all really upset about it. I don't know if I can take that kind of rejection. And Jennifer says, it isn't the end of the world. I just love the timing of that as they're coming across here. We've got a For Mary in the background here. You know, you just can't write this stuff. But this is the bit I wanted to show you. That transition takes us from the 911 to, here it is, Cupid's. Oh, if we could just get it. Cupid's adult store right here, okay? And it just says Cupid adult, okay? It doesn't say, it's supposed to be an adult store, right? Pause. We've got Mr. Foster, you know, when you go in to the system, you are bonded and you're in debt with loans. Here's the loan people here. And basically, you've been fostered into the system. Yeah, that's the metaphor behind. That's the idea behind it. That's what they're trying to say there. So, you don't actually have a true mother anymore, even though you're in the mother. You don't have a true mother. Yeah. Okay. I've got to do the next part of this now as well. I wish I had a better picture of that. I thought I had one up. Open scene. I want to show that in a minute. Oh, here it is. I knew I had a better picture of it. Here it is. Cupid's adult. And this is what this is about. This is about becoming an adult. Yeah. Super interesting. Let me show you this other part of this now. So while they're sat here on the bench, this is where he gets the flyer. So he knows about the lightning strike when he goes back to see Doc. Well, when he ends up back in 1955. And, you know, make reference to all the colours here. Very grey and drab. You know, this is the you know, it's, you know, they've paved paradise to put up a parking lot here. I mean, it's just, the references are insane actually when you think about it, this film. But anyway, right here, Marty is about to be accosted by Mrs. Doubtfire. You can't write this stuff. And behind her, we got the third eye. We've got that, the dollar symbolism there, but we've got the third as well, like the third eye. But the third, and what Marty does here is, with that in the background, he ends up giving the old Mrs. Doubtfire, here's a quarter, is what he says. So we've got the third quarter referenced right here. The third quarter being 9/11. Excuse me, my throat's going. And so that was just a really cool little part of the film as well. I don't know what else to say about it. The third quarter's reference with Mrs. Doubtfire. Let's do Mrs. Doubtfire now. Here we go. You all know this Mrs. Doubtfire clip, because this is the dude looks like a lady one where Robin Williams is dancing around all crazy. I was watching this with my boy and he's like, oh look at this, look, watch this. The Hoover fell while she's doing the hoovering in this scene. Ay, ay, ay. And there's a couple of references back to, what did she do here? I keep saying she, he, it. Oh, she does this bit as well with the, again with the sweeper, the duster. She's doing the air guitar, a bit like Marty at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, you know, with the reference to Guy Fawkes again there, with the trident. Just insane. Oh, and we have there's a nice little Golden Gate Bridge reference in here. There's even, where is it? There's the reference, well, this building here, to, come on, back it up, Dan. This building here, yeah, we've got another reference to the sort of Trilon, 2 into 1, the upward and the downward arrow. You know, I mean, again with the seal on the back of the $1 bill, the pyramid. Oh, he just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? And where is that other blooming piece in here? I just got to show. Oh yeah, here we go. And we've even got James Bond in it as well. Pierce Brosnan is playing the other man in the film. Okay. I mean, oh, and of course, don't forget that Mrs. Doubtfire, she's Scottish, you know, so we've got that reference back to the Great Scott. Unbelievable. I don't know what else to say, really. We've covered all that. I mean, here's, look, you know, this is when everything's getting started. This is more like paradise here. And here we got the, you know, we've got the flux capacitor here. We've got the phallus, the arrowhead pointing into the courthouse now, into the clock tower. And Marty's walking in there. He's going in. Okay, this is the cup of Christ, or the other way around. Yeah, we got the V and the A. And well, what I wanted to show you was that Cupid Adult Store, actually, travel service. Yeah, are you going on a journey, a voyage, a odyssey? I don't know. And here we've got the stationers. Okay, the people that sell the pen and paper to help you create your fiction. You know, I don't know, just nuts, just absolutely bloody nuts. So much more references there than meets the eye, actually. What else do I want to say? I've pretty much done everything there. We've done the Cars, we've done 50 Cent in the Club, and of course, I will say this, with 50 Cent, we've got the Eminem Dr. Dre connection, which is again back to the halftime show. Okay, if you watch the In the Club, I believe that, you know, this is where he got his big break with those two characters. And if you watch that video in the club, they're both in that video as well. I wanted to show you this thing, the thing that causes all the problems in part 2, the almanac. We managed to get the numbers for pi on the front of here, the 314. So there's a nice little reference. Don't know what that is. I think it's an 84. I'm not sure. But we also managed to get the 123 on here. And there isn't really much going on. There's 55 in the barcode, and a 76 but there's nothing really major going on in the barcode. But super interesting right here. And I don't know. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if it was a team in green and blue, as on the in that? Actually, I've talked to my daughter about who do we think is going to be in the Super Bowl this year, and in fact, you could pick a dozen teams that would have, or a dozen different matchups that would have significance to this whole thing. So, although it appears fairly random on the surface, or it might look programmed, it is programmed, but the program can take different avenues, if you like, different branches. Done REM. I think that's it. I honestly think that's the end of it. That's just insane. Yeah, I think we've pretty much done everything. And the bit, yeah. I haven't got anything else left to say. Apart from go shorty, it's your birthday. I guess I should end the thing by actually saying that I just watched Matt the other day, Quantum of Conscience, and he was going on about this the endless nugget trails, the breadcrumb trails that seem to be leading somewhere, but they just want to take your attention, and you're just following this stuff along. And I feel that way a little bit about this, right? But I don't know. This just it feels that way a little bit, like I'm getting led along, and I don't know whether this is the final part of the thing, the final quarter, or whether we're going to continue on being led along here. I'm not sure. But what I will say is that I actually do believe that this is, if something does happen, what people are going to become aware of is there's going to be a lot of people that are seeing stuff, and they're going to be asking the question whether this is, reality shaping around that event, or whether it was pre-programmed. And this is, for me, with the dollar bill, this is definitely some level of pre-programming. Okay, at some level, there is some pre-programming there. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Other than this whole idea of the end of the cycle and renewing and rejuvenation and restarting, becoming independent. This is not something to be afraid of. Matt was going on about like the doom and gloomers and the apocalypse, blah blah. Everybody's gonna die. You better start prepping, and it does not hurt to be prepared, because that's actually that's half the point of this. Yeah. The other half is to realize and actually not be afraid of it, and actually embrace it, and actually, if you can see what the actual benefit of it is, and you can see how corrupt the system is now, the idea of a reset is actually in terms of the game that everybody's in, is actually a good thing to start over again. But that comes with the caveat of it would really suck if it could really suck for a large number of people as well. But that's what freedom is about. It's about being independent, the independent man, Independence Day, it's about being independent from the control of the system. Every time you rely on the system or the matrix for something, now the matrix can dictate to you. Once it's got that carrot dangling in front of you, it's riding you, you know, and it's going to whip you when you get out of line as well. But if you just become independent of that thing, if you just flip that jockey off, life would be probably a lot better. Okay, I think that's about it. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't have to be a doom and gloom thing. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. You know, prepping is about being independent. Really, it's not. I mean, you want to have a bit of food in the cabinet, sort of thing. You want to have some tins in there, but you also want to know how to grow your own food. You also want to know how to harvest your own food from nature, yeah, rather than being dependent on a food delivery from Walmart or whatever you get. I think I'm going to leave it at that. It's not all doom and gloom. It's actually this should be actually a very positive move in the right direction. If you can recognize how corrupt the world is and how bad things have gotten, I think, you know. I know that most people can recognize that just over a short period of time, you know, over the last 20 years, how kind of absurd things have become, and how kind of you know, I don't know. It's just corrupt is the word, I guess. You know, and when a program becomes corrupted, it's time to, you know, uninstall and then, you know, reinstall a fresh version. So done. Video's done. That's it. Take care. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. All right. Bye.